it is very important for educators to be aware of their fair use rights so that they know what percent can be copied and how it can be copied without breaking any copyright laws. The Copyright Act of 1909 prohibited people from distributing copies or publishing copies of material that was owned by someone else. So, in 1976, an amendment was put on the Copyright Act called the Fair Use Rights, and it allowed teachers and students to use a small portion of copyright work without permission. However, this fair use is very flexible. It has no specific rules and it's not easily defined. So there are some guidelines to help determine what we are legally able to copy. Section 107 of the Copyright Law has set 4 factors or guidelines to determine the fairness of particular use. The first is the purpose and the character. This does include whether the use is of commercial nature or if it's for nonprofit educational purposes. The second is the nature of the copyright work. Third is the amount and the substantiality of the portion used in relation to the copyrighted work as a whole. And then fourth is the effect of the use upon the potential market or the value of the copyrighted work. So make sure that the material is being used for non-commercial use or for derivative work, and that the smallest amount that you need to make your point is being copied. Section 107 also contains a list of particular work that may be considered fair, such as criticism and comment, like in a review of a book, news reporting, research and scholarly purpose, parody, and nonprofit educational uses, such as in the classroom. There are 5 types of work that are protected by copyright laws. Images, pictures, drawings, illustrations, art is all protected by copyright. If you copy a graphic or anything that you even use for an icon on the computer, or take in anything, something as big as a bulletin board, it must be granted permission from the owner to use. Also, copies of music in any form and lyrics are protected by copyright. The reason for this is even though someone may not be making a copy to sell to someone else, they just want a copy for themselves, they are keeping the owner who has a right to make money off of that piece of music or lyric that they would be getting if you had not made a copy of it. It is okay to make a backup copy of your own personal item that you have purchased. However, it becomes illegal when you make a copy and distribute it to someone else. Some more items that have copyright laws is computer programs, softwares, and data, any type of movie, video clip, or film, even YouTube videos, TeacherTube, any type of video out there, and any written piece of work, whether it's a poem that has been published and in books at local stores, or a poem that someone might have written and still has in their little folder and never even got published. So basically every single piece of work that has been created automatically is protected by the copyright law. However, if someone wants to have a registered copyright law, they can pay a $45 fee to get it registered, and if anyone does copy it, they cannot sue until their piece of work has been registered for 3 months. In education, a lot of material is passed from one teacher to the next, and as this is happening, each teacher will take a little bit away or add a little bit of their own to each piece of media that is being used. However, this material still does technically have copyright laws, but the Fair Use Act does allow a certain portion for it to be used and distributed in the classroom. The intention is just for it to be used once. So if someone is going to use a particular song or a particular workbook year after year, that teacher or school will need to purchase a copy of the material that is being used. For the one-time use, though, motion media can be copied up to 10% or for 3 minutes long. Text material is 10% or 1,000 words. Music, lyrics and music video is about the same. Illustrations and photographs has no more than 5 images per artist or publisher, and no more than about 10%. And then data sheets, numerical data sheets as well, is about 10% or 2,500 fields. And then all of this, in all of these cases, it's whichever is less. According to the fair use provisions, everything that I have covered so far must be met in order to be in accordance with fair use, or else they will be breaking copyright laws, which is called copyright infringement. Due to the rise of technology, there has been an amendment called the TEACH Act that has been added to the fair use policy to incorporate distant learning. So now teachers are allowed to display and perform more reading and musical works. However, they can only keep it on their website for a certain amount of time before they have to take this off. Students now have access to the materials from any location other than the classroom, and the students that are enrolled must be the only ones who have access to this material. And then all the participants can now digitize, store, and copy materials more freely. Not every piece of work can be copied and distributed with the help of the fair use rights. So before making copies and distributing or using anything that is not your own, make sure you follow the 4 factors and guidelines, as well as the 5 provisions to ensure that you are not breaking any copyright laws. Because there is such a fine line between fair use and copyright infringement, which, by the way, is classified as a felony. So to keep yourself safe, just assume everything is copyright and follow the guidelines set by Congress for the fair use policy.